What is up, guys? Welcome back again to another episode of Boleros. The Sultan of Sando Gab here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, the prophet, Mr. Mawiyap. Again, we are without the master of the mustache himself, Sam Santos. He
Mr.
is out of the
Perfect.
country. Mr. He's- si Master Pogi. Si Master Pogi. If you know, you know. If you know the reference. Si Master Pogi. But yeah, he's out of the country right now. So again, it'll just be me and Maui. And there was a lot of preseason action that happened in the past couple of days. We saw the debut of VJ Pre in a UP Maroons jersey. Of course, if you're from UP, you're from happy. You're probably happy. If you're from FEU, that probably contributed to your grief, and we feel you. Nasa anong stage of grief na kayo, Jeffrey? Ba gusto mong sabihin sa amin na yung nasa anong stage of grief ka na? Mag-comment ka below kung ano yung stage of grief namin. But yeah, no, we will not be talking about VJ Pre today. We've talked enough about VJ Pre in the last episode. But we will be talking about a lot of other things. And the first of which, we saw the debut of a very highly touted rookie for the UST Growling Tigers in the past week. Koji Buenaflor made his UST Growling Tigers debut in the seniors ranks. I'll start. He did not have a good game. He had 2 points. Was bad from the line. Committed a ton of fouls. But you can see that Maui, as we said when he first committed, this guy has a role in UST. So I know he didn't have an impressive collegiate rank debut, but what did you see for Koji Buenaflor, and what role do you foresee him coming into season 88 for the UST Growling Tigers?
Yeah. Actually, departure, they have a big void to fill, diba? From that center and power forward slot. UST can go any way they want. I don't know. Si Peter Osang also just recently, I think, won an MVP award in one of the preseason tournaments. But he's been underwhelming compared to Motong Kara. As far as Buenaflor, I think he can earn a role, diba? He has to fight for minutes versus Asido and probably Crisostomo. I think he has a better shot than si Zayn Mahmood, diba? As we've seen also during the preseason right now. It would be interesting to see how many minutes Coach Pido will give Koji Buenaflor. Notoriously, si Coach Pido hasn't given rookies, diba, a lot of burn, a lot of minutes. I think that contributed to Mahmood and even si SJ Moore not getting some minutes. But I think the best thing that happened to Buenaflor is him staying in UST. Diba? Kasi he has seen the system, he has played the system, and unlike maybe si SJ Moore and unlike maybe si Zayn Mahmood, who were two highly touted rookies also, he's arriving early. Diba? He's already arrived this early. Unlike the other two who arrived pretty late and wasn't really able to grasp the system of Coach Pido. But I think si Buenaflor has all the tools to thrive eventually in Pido Harencho's system, diba? What does Pido love the most? Diba? We've always said this in the past. It's versatile wings, diba? A wing player who can play 2, 3, 4, and I think si Buenaflor will have his chances to potentially play 4 and maybe some spot minutes at the 3 if he can continue to improve his game. So yeah, excited. I'm excited for UST, di ba? I think yung big blow lang talaga nila is yung losing maybe yung leadership ni Christian Manaytay and yung explosiveness itong Kara. I have yet to be able to see if si Peter Osang will be able to fill that big of a void. Yep.
Yeah, you talk about staying in UST, and I think he has a perfect spot here in UST because right away I do foresee him having playing time. In the first game in Phil Oil, I don't want to call it playtime. We don't support that. I'm still calling it Phil Oil. By the way. So, yeah, in his first game, he did play some backup center, Maui. And you talk about a guy na prototypical Coach Pido guy. He's taller than even the prototypical Coach Pido guys. But if you remember guys like sina Kevin Ferrer, Dylan Ababu, uh, Kasim Mirza, the King Archer, si Aljon Mariano, the and most recently sila Amiel Asido, all pretty tall wings, pero this guy is legit what 6'7", 6'8", and I think he's only a teenager. So ang dami pang room to grow for Koji. He's been playing some backup center that does not bode well for a guy like Zayn Mahmoud. I do not think he's gonna crack the rotation again this season. It doesn't look good for him talaga. I do think Coach Pido will like the versatility of Koji kasi nga he plays like a wing. He played more like a wing in high school, even though he played like in a big man spot. So he can play some wing minutes. I'm not sure if it will be available agad this upcoming season. You given si Nick Caballero still there, si Amiel Asido, si Lastasio, and all those other guys. So I'm not sure if it will come now, but he's the type of guy that Coach Pido loves. He can play multiple positions, can switch all around, and I do think he'll find some minutes behind Jello Crisostomo and Peter Osang. Yung thing lang, Maui, may nag-comment sa last video natin na he looks like a taller Zave Lucero. At nag-reply ako sabi ko, be careful who you compare him with. Baka mamaya hindi na yan sa UST maglaro next season at maging Zave Lucero nga siya, mapunta siya sa UP fighting. Sabi ko, easy ka lang sa mga comparisons, pare.
Grabe with the Zave Lucero comments, but siguro it's a blessing na rin that UST is currently backed by SMC, so I don't think that they would allow such a transfer to happen. But I think much like NU, diba, UST is playing for now and for future. Diba, they have the pieces to compete now, but they also have the pieces to eventually compete in the future, diba? Actually, I'm very excited to see yung maybe a lineup of Buenaflor, Crisostomo, Asido, and Fortsky and Caballero, all wings with Fortsky. Let's see if we can see that more.
It takes you back, no? It takes you back to the old Pido teams, di ba?
Pwede mag-5 out, di ba? Evangelista at na 5.
yung kahit yung 2010 teams yun, di ba? With like Jeric Tengs, Kevin Ferrer, si Aljon Mariano, and all those other guys playing at the same time. So essentially, all wings talaga. So yeah, I do like the fit of Koji Buenaflor. For UST fans, you cross your fingers, you mag-wish na kayo na hopefully he stays in UST. Given the landscape of the UAP now, I'm not really so sure that anyone is staying, diba? But yeah, I do like the fit now. I do think he has a ton of upside. Again, a bad first game in a big preseason league. Hopefully we see a better outing from Koji in the next few games for UST. But one guy who did impress in the first game of UST in Phil Oil is I think a potential breakout player for season 88 Maui. And I think you and Sam really like this guy. You've been talking him up since the start of the preseason. He's one of your guys to watch. You inserted him into my list of the best power forwards for season 88. Jello Crisostomo had a really, really solid outing in his first game for UST here in the preseason, showing improved touch from the outside. The defensive versatility is still there. Do you think he is the X factor for UST in the upcoming season?
Well, you already know what to expect, diba, for players like Padrigao and Caballero. So I would say that maybe Jello Crisostomo was the X factor even last season. Diba? When Jello Crisostomo played, UST looked like a different beast, diba? You just saw how they played against Ateneo and how Jello Crisostomo destroyed Ateneo by himself during the game. I think he has a ton of upside. I love his size, and it looks like he spent a lot of time in the gym, di ba? Yung shot na looks a lot smoother. His release point is better. He can shoot faster than the previous season. Tsaka he's hitting from all from all areas. Mostly from the wing area. Maybe some corner shots. But yeah, I like what I see with Jello Crisostomo. There's a reason why we're hyped up. I think he can be the next big thing for UST. It's gonna be interesting to see what positions he play for next season. But UST has a lot of options, diba? So I've just mentioned, we might see a Jello Crisostomo playing at the center slot and everybody just playing on the outside. But hoping for that leap. Diba? Kasi losing Motong Kara was pretty big for UST. And if you look at yung system ni Pido Harencio, Motong Kara was actually the perfect big for them. A big who basically is a wing, but is not bullied by other big men, diba? So let's see how they do with Peter Osang. But I think the three most important, well, maybe the four players to watch out for UST right now is Lemit, Asido, and maybe Crisostomo and Buenaflor. Diba? All wing players. Diba? When you talk about a Pido Harencio system, you have to talk about the wing players. I think they will dictate the success of this team moving forward. Kasi si Caballero and si Fortsky naman are proven commodities. You know what to expect.
Yeah, and just to set expectations. Yes, Jello Crisostomo did have a career high against Ateneo, but I think all of the big men were having career highs against Ateneo. Si Kensin Padrones nga Maui nagka-career high sa Ateneo eh. So, take it with a grain of salt. Yung explosion ni Jello Crisostomo sa against Ateneo in that first round encounter. So, walang big men yung Ateneo. They had Balogun. I think that says it all. Balogun still catching strays on Boleros.
I think consistency ang biggest thing for Jello Crisostomo coming to this season. So if he can be more consistent than the previous season, then maybe he could be that X factor for UST.
Yeah, I do agree he's one of the X factors, but I don't think he is the X factor for UST. Para sa akin, Maui, I think it's still si Peter Osang. One of the main weapons they had last year was go to Motong Kare. And again, I don't see that with Peter Osang. I don't think he's a wing player. He's more of I would say, a stereotypical big man. Regular big man, crashes the boards, protects the rim, can score in the paint. He does have a mid-range shot. I've seen him hit those shots. He has a pretty good stroke, but he's not the same guy as Mo, who can attack from all three levels. Diba? Can shoot from the outside, can attack from the outside, can post up. It's a perfect lob threat for a guy like Fortsky. He's not that. So they will have to plan around that. Perhaps less post-ups for Peter Osang. I don't think he's a post-up guy. I haven't seen him be efficient as a post-up guy. It wasn't like si Mo, diba? Si Mo, when you give him the ball in the post-up, he'll just face up, jab step, and drive baseline, and then spin to the middle. Can just beat you with his foot speed. I don't think yung Peter Osang is that guy. But yeah, if the UST plans to at least close how should I say this? Close the gap between them and the UP Fighting Maroons and the DLSU Green Archers. Peter Osang has to play, at least has to match up with the likes of a Mike Phillips, with the likes of a Gani Stevens, Noruka/Ododo. We'll talk about that later, and the other centers of UP. Because if he can play against those bigs, against that front line, medyo malala ang UST. Their next bigs are si Zayn Mahmoud, who didn't get much minutes last season, si Koji Buenaflor, who's thin, he's tall, but he's not really a center, and si Christian Manaytay. Yung si Jello Crisostomo. And our ever favorite si Eco Laure. But again, very shallow ang front line ng UST. Right after Peter Osang, you're now relying on a rookie and a sophomore who have not gotten meaningful minutes in the seniors division to man the front line. And that's going to be, I think, the point of emphasis for a lot of UST games against the likes of a UP LaSalle and even for an NU. Can Peter Osang stay on the floor for a prolonged amount of time? They will have to play in big minutes in the upcoming season. I don't think that they can survive without Peter Osang in the lineup. Not unless they get someone already big enough to back him up and to spell him some minutes. But I do think si Peter Osang yung biggest X factor for UST this season. Any more comments, Maui, before we move on to our next topic?
Let's go with the next topic.
Okay, so one guy who did make his return, not debut, but a return in the past week, is one of your favorites, Maui. Joshua Coronel. He's back. He's back. He's back from what? Ilang taon siya nawala? 2 years? 2 year
2 years.
hiatus.
Dalawang ACL.
Yeah, and he's one guy that when the batch of Pablo, Gagate, and Coronel came out of LaSalle Green Hills, I think you were at least you were really high on Josh Coronel, and you could not wait to see him in the seniors division and play for UP. Now he has been a bit rusty. I would put it up to Russ. That medyo a lot of turnovers, defensive mistakes, showed some athleticism, some scoring punch. His shot is I think needs a lot of work. I think he shot an air ball in their previous game against Mapua from the free throw line. So it doesn't look good right now. Again, I'm not reading that much into it. It's his first time playing in a meaningful game for UP in 2 years. Pero Maui, what role first, do you foresee him to actually make the roster for season 88? And second, if he does make the roster, what type of role do you think Josh Coronel will have?
I mean, the fact that you asked the question if he will make the roster, I think that pretty much answers what kind of role he'll have, di ba, come season 88.
Marami siyang competition, I do have to admit.
And the guys who he will be competing are guys who are going to graduate. Di ba? So UP will definitely prioritize their playing time. They will definitely make up, try their best, di ba? Kasi it's their chance to really impress and shine and show pro scouts what they can do. Diba? Players like Abadiano, players like Fortea, Torres, diba? These guys want to go pro, diba? Maybe some can surprise and even go pro in Korea. Diba? I've been hearing reports that Korean teams were impressed kay Fortea, I think, and Alarcon, diba? In previous season. So, maybe not a big role, but hopefully he makes a lineup. Diba? I think the first thing that Joshua Coronel has to really look out for this offseason is staying healthy and getting meaningful minutes. Diba? I think he has to take advantage that UP has two teams in Phil Oil, much like in Pinoy Liga, much like the other guys. But making the lineup for UP is always a tough question. Diba? They have a lot of guys coming in to replace the graduating guys. And they also have a ton of veterans who are looking to prove themselves to get to the pro. But I'm hoping that from what I've been hearing from the inside in, they've really been impressed with yung work ethic ni Coronel despite the injuries. Diba? I think he's very...
Katawan niya, Maui. Yes, one thing nagulat ako from watching him is his shoulders grew. He does not skinny anymore. He looks like he really put in the work.
It's unfortunate, di ba? Kasi if he makes the lineup, it's gonna make the debut as a junior already. But he's still gonna get 5 playing years, di ba? So he'll get the chance. But I think one of the most concerning things you mentioned is yung shooting niya, di ba? Kasi he was really known as a guy who likes to drive to the basket. What impressed me the most was when I was watching him play for Gilas when sila Mason Amos and sila Gagate. Before, I like how he has fearlessness and drives to the basket. But what's concerning to me is if he was already sidelined for 2 seasons, he should have worked on his outside shot. Diba? That's pretty common for guys who...
I had the same thought, actually. I had the same thought.
'Di ba? That's very common for guys who've been injured for a long time, 'di ba? They usually come back with the more refined shooting stroke, especially if your injury is a lower limb injury. But from what I hear, this guy's a workhorse. 'Di ba? People are raving about his workhorse. People have been raving about him sa practice. So maybe it's just a matter of time before he shows that he belongs. But to me right now, it looks like it's too early to tell. 'Di ba? It's not like other teams, 'di ba? That there are probably only 20 people competing for 16 slots. 'Di ba? This is UP. Maybe 10 guys are already assured and maybe 15 guys are fighting for 6 slots. 15 competent guys, 'di ba? UP usually recruits quality players over quantity. 'Di ba? I think that's the main difference between UP and LaSalle. LaSalle has a bigger pool, but UP has probably the best quality type of players coming out of high school and recruited from other teams. 'Di ba? So, yeah, I guess it's too early to tell right now. Maybe when we do our luck maybe or na episode, we can ascertain if he deserves to be in the lineup. But I'm happy. Diba? Anytime you see a guy who's been beaten down and finally gets to play minutes, I think the best thing that could happen to Coronel is to just continue to work and get minutes this season, and hopefully no more injuries. Even upper body injuries. Diba? Any injury for this guy is just devastating at this point.
Yeah, you said it, Maui. I'm just happy that he's back on the court playing. As a guy who plays sports, a former athlete, still semi-retired athlete for now, I don't like seeing people get hurt. I'm scared of getting hurt. Diba? You never want to see it because pare, sobrang sakit ng mga yung injuries na yan. Diba? You've had an ACL injury. It hurts. It sucks. The rehab is long. You can say that, yeah, you can go back to your own strength, but it takes a lot of work and process driven. Diba? So, si Josh Coronel had to. So, imagine the length of time he had to go through just going to rehab and trying to regain his old self. Yeah, but for this upcoming season, I do think he'll make the lineup. Whether he gets minutes, I'm not so sure. And ang daming guys who play the same position as him. You just run down the UP Team 1 and Team 2 in Pinoy Liga. Makakahanap ka ng guys like Alarcon, Torres, Baila, Briones, sino pa ba?
Nakalimutan ko pa nga si Briones eh. Di ba, from the guys I mentioned a while ago?
Si Abadiano, LA Andres, who also made his comeback in the past week. So, ang dami. And yung the fact that he has a pretty apparent weakness right now is his shooting. Kind of goes against him. Kasi, like what you said, UP recruits a lot of quality players 1 through 16. And when you have a lot of talented and competent guys throughout your roster, your flaws are kind of magnified. So, diba, if you're an athletic guy like Coronel, has a ton of upside, but your shooting is not up to par, and you compare him with a guy like Baila and Briones, who are better shooters, medyo yung magnify yung weakness na yun. So he does have to work on that. Maybe he'll play like 5 minutes a game. I don't think he's supplanting Baila. I don't think he's supplanting Alarcon, Torres, and all those guys in the rotation. Si Fortea pa pala, nakalimutan ko si Terence. Si Terence Fortea, si Jerry Abadian, who all play wing minutes. I don't foresee him taking over them, no? Malabo for now. But in season 89, that's when the runway clears for Josh Coronel. I do think that he'll have a very good shot at getting rotation minutes then. Alarcon, Torres, Abadiano, Fortea, they're all graduating. So that's 4 guys in the rotation playing wing minutes who are graduating. So maybe come season 89, he'll find himself in the rotation. But for season 88, I just hope he makes the lineup. Kasi when he's been 2 years out, I do hope that he finally makes it. I mean, he was a highly recruited guy out of LaSalle Green Hills. But yeah, we're happy to see the comeback of a guy like Josh Coronel. Moving on, Maui, to one of our topics for the preseason when we did our what to watch for in the preseason. Let's go to our FSA watch. And I think we have to lay down the hammer of into some of our FSA battles for this season, Maui. I do want to start with NU. I do think we have to call it. Omar John is the FSA for season 88. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever right now. I mean, in the start of the preseason, a month ago, a month and a half ago, we were still doubting. Yumo Diazana was inserted into the official lineups. Colin Sakoe was inserted into the Pinoy Liga lineup. But now I think it's crystal clear. It's going to be Omar John. And we have to give him his props. He's been playing well the entire preseason. He's played nearly every game for NU, and NU has played a ton of games, and he's played nearly everything. So I think you have to agree. Sa luck maybe or na natin, maybe come July or August, it has to be Omar John. I don't think NU suddenly gonna swerve and put in Yumo Diazana when he hasn't played a single minute in the preseason. I don't think they're gonna go with Colin Sakoe. The fact that he hasn't even played a single game for NU so far. Do you agree, Maui? Do we have to call it for Omar John?
For our friend, Omar John.
Someone send this please to Omar John. Parang hindi na siya galit sa atin.
Yeah, I think si Omar John, di ba, sa inside track to make the FSA slot. You basically summed it up, di ba? Si Colin Sakoe hasn't even logged a single minutes. We haven't really gotten a report on Diazana, di ba? When he's gonna be healthy, when he's gonna come back. I think with the way Omar John's playing, it would be a bit crazy for NU to swerve. Di ba? They have to build chemistry. Their lineup has to build chemistry. Si Omar John has been their FSA for the past seasons. Diba? I think what really blew the chances of Diazana the most was not even yung injury niya. It was the injury that led to him not being able to really establish yung chemistry from last season. Diba? If you want to maximize the final seasons of Figueroa and Manansala and Steve Nash, I think the decision has to be Omar John at this point. Diba? Last year, it was all about finding upside for NU, for them to be able to, as you mentioned, close the gap to the top 2 teams. But this season, I think it's gonna be about stability. Diba? They have the weapons, they have upside from their young guns, something that they did not have in previous seasons. Diba? I think they can play that upside and go for the also reliable Omar John, who's having a breakout of season. And yeah, I think it's gonna be an easy choice, diba? It's gonna be hard to trust also if Diazana can stay healthy, diba? For next season, maybe they can focus on getting him healthy for season 89, diba? I don't know if Omar John how many years Omar John can still play in the UAAP, but I think for season 88 he will be their FSA for next season.
Yep. Again, I agree. And just one note on Colin Sakoe. I do get a lot of questions na where's Colin Sakoe going? Why hasn't he committed yet? He was dominant in the juniors division. Just again, this is just opinion. I've not heard this from anyone, from any of the people inside. I do think there's a bit of doubt coming into recruiting Colin Sakoe. Yes, he dominated in the boys division, but you have to understand that no one was as big as Colin Sakoe in the boys division. Diba? That is the reason why he dominated. Now, he was really good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not just his height that allowed him to dominate in the boys division. It was also that he was a pretty skilled big man. Had post moves, you can block you can protect the rim, can grab rebounds like hell, can score in the paint. Very powerful. But again, I think for UAAP schools in the seniors ranks, there's a bit of skepticism if that is translatable to the seniors division, because diba, it's easy to get 20-20 games when you're the biggest guy on the floor. You just have to stand in the middle and grab the ball because no one is as tall as you. Don't sometimes if you watch Colin Soko, he didn't even have to jump a lot of the times in the juniors in the boys division. Ginugulang pa rin sa boys versus the juniors. Hindi ako masanay. But yeah, I think there is some skepticism when it comes to that. The other part of it, and this was a big change coming from Colin Sakoe's grade 11 season versus his grade 12 season. He got a lot bigger. And as a result of that, I think he got a bit slower. I think if you watch Colin Sakoe in this past boys season in the UAAP, you would see that he struggles to guard in space. He's more of a traditional big who likes to stay in the middle, guard the paint. So I don't think that's what you really want right now in a UAAP that prioritizes spacing, that prioritizes switchability, that prioritizes quickness. You talk about all the FSAs that we have now, and they're all FSAs who are quick on their feet, can guard a ton of space. Guys like si Precious Momoway, si Mo Konate, Mike Phillips, si QMB yung last season, Mo Tongkara, si Peter Osang now. Guys who are quick on their feet, yes, can protect the rim, can catch lobs, but can also guard in space. That is, I think, one thing going against yung Colin Sakoe. Medyo mabagal siya eh. He was exposed in the finals against the UST Tiger Cubs. So, I do think yun yung going against Colin Sakoe now. Kasi if teams really wanted Colin Sakoe, he would be on the roster right now. So, for me, there is, I think, a very low interest for college teams because may obvious weaknesses si Colin Sakoe. And I think they have a lot more questions about his ability to contribute in the seniors ranks. Your thoughts, Maui? Do you think he'll eventually wind up somewhere? Do you agree with me na yun yung thought process ng mga teams na to?
Yeah, I think so. Kasi you mentioned it, diba? The game basketball right now is about pace and space. Diba? And Colin Sakoe struggles with both. Diba? I think him bulking up maybe was not the right decision at that time. Maybe he wants to get stronger and will get more leaner come college time. But the fact that there have not been inside rumblings or rumors where he might end up maybe suggests that there's not that much interest in fact with Colin Sakoe. I think very important case study si Colin Sakoe and how he will do in the UAAP seniors. Kasi it will dictate diba, if teams will continue to recruit FSAs even in the senior high school or even in the I don't know what you call them yung
Junior
earlier
high
pa.
school?
Junior high school
and
division.
boys na siya eh. So juniors and boys.
So yeah, juniors and boys, diba? It's a different category. So I think it's gonna be a very interesting case study. Diba? Kasi if he will be able to show that he could be utilized, he could be effective in the seniors division, then maybe more teams, diba, will decide to recruit earlier. But if he doesn't pan out in the seniors division and he was a top player in the juniors division, an MVP, diba, part of the champion bullpups, I think that other teams might be more reluctant to recruit early. Diba? Actually, I was excited, or I'm still excited to see what's gonna happen. Kasi it sort of had a similar story with Ange Kwame. Diba? Ateneo recruited Kwame, I think, at 16 years old. Collins Okoye actually was able to play in the juniors division, but si Kwame was still studying in another school when Ateneo started to train him. Diba? So, let's see. But it doesn't look good so far. Diba? The fact that he hasn't even logged a single minute, and I think there haven't been rumors with other teams with regards to recruiting him. Diba? So, maybe NU decides to keep 3 FSAs. Diba? Kasi in the UAP, it's really unpredictable already. Diba? What happens to FSAs? Just as UST, who's had multiple one-year FSAs in the UAP. Diba? We don't know if Peter Osang, if he's chosen, if he will play multiple seasons also. Diba? Just as Ateneo, struggling to find an FSA replacement at the last minute and deciding to get Victor Balogun. Diba? So, and Lasal and UP, diba, have multiple FSAs waiting on the sidelines. Diba? So maybe they use this season to train him and get him ready for the seniors division. Kasi I think with NU, diba, it's important to note that they will prioritize competing this season. Diba? They have to with the final seasons of Manansala and Figueroa. Diba? So maybe Collins Okoye is not the right choice for this season. Maybe he could be the right choice come next season. Maybe he could fight out that slot with Mo Diazana for next season. But right now, it doesn't look good. So maybe he has to trim down again. Maybe he has to work on his outside shot. Maybe he needs to work on his quickness. Diba? Kasi as you mentioned, in the juniors division, he was a walking mismatch. In the seniors division, he will match up with bigger, taller, faster big men. Diba? Imagine him matching up with Motor Mike. Diba? A big man who has both strength and
I'm sure.
Diba? Strength and weakness. So maybe he's not ready for this season. But I would like, if NU is going to retain him, I would like to see him get some minutes, maybe in Pinoy Liga. Diba? So we can at least get an idea what he could look like in the seniors division.
Yung thing ko lang kay Collins Okoye is based on his statements, and he has released some. I don't think he's looking for being a backup FSA, a reserve FSA. I do think he's really looking for a spot where he can play agad. I mean, who could blame him, diba? He was the best FSA. What a stupid award. But yeah, he was the best FSA for last season.
The first recipient
of the best FSA award. Whatever. And he was previously an MVP, or was it Siomaway? But he was a highly touted guy in the UAAP boys division. So I do understand where he's coming from. That I need to play immediately. Diba? I think that's his thinking from all of his statements, that he really wants to feel out the offers, really wants to find a good spot for him. But mukhang set na kasi lahat ng FSAs except for one that maybe we'll talk about a bit later. Except for one na possibly open pa for him. But yeah, I do think he has to lower his standards a bit. I don't think he's getting an immediate immediate starting role, a big role as the main FSA for this upcoming season. There's marami ng teams may FSA. So yeah, that's it for Collins Okoye. Another FSA watch, which we also mentioned in our What to Watch For in the preseason episode, Maui, is the UP FSA watch. And I don't know about you, it does not look good for Dikachi Ododo, because I do think si Francis Noruka is locking up that position little by little, and I don't know, he has more offensive upside, I would say, than Ododo. He has a better shooting stroke. I've seen him shoot threes, although miss. I've seen him shoot very well from the free throw line. I've seen him shoot from mid-range. He knows how to score in the paint, has better touch. Defensively, I do think also has a bit more upside than Udodo. Although I do think si Udodo is more of an athletic defensive player. But I do think si Noruko is running away with this. The fact that Udodo hasn't even played for a couple of weeks now, and he's not playing in Phil Oil, sort of makes me say that Francis Noruka is probably going to be the FSA for the UP Fighting Maroons in season 88. And despite what other people said, there was still some doubt when the preseason started, right? Whether or not si Noruka or si Udodo yung ila-line up nila. Yes, si Noruka had been turning it up in Team B, but we had some sources within the UP community, the team, who said that they still were not sure because they still think that there's a decision to be made. Although I do think right now they're kind of leaning towards Francis Noruka. Your thoughts, Maui?
Yeah, actually kita mo yung upside with Noruka. I think that's the biggest thing, 'di ba? Offensively, definitely is a lot better than Udodo. 'Di ba? He can score a ton of points. He has very good quickness. As you mentioned, he has an outside shot or he has a good-looking stroke. But I think it's too early to tell. Right now, I can't say that he's running away with it.
Hanggang ngayon?
Yes.
Too early to tell pa rin sa'yo?
Yes, and the main reason is I heard that si Udodo is not playing not because UP is not playing him. I think I heard that si Udodo had to come home. I think for a family matter. Diba? So that answers the question why UP hasn't fielded him in the past few weeks. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, diba? Until I see both of them play in preseason tournaments, then maybe Udodo can still showcase something. But as you mentioned, I think maybe hindi naman like maybe 60-40 or 70-30 it's gonna be Francis Noruka, diba, as the FSA. Diba, UP will play with upside. Diba, they have a ton of proven players, and I think that's gonna be the main decision point with that FSA slot, diba? Aside from maybe who matches up best with Mike Phillips. Diba? I haven't seen si Noruka play with Phillips, diba? So si Udodo, at least they know what to expect when he matches up with Phillips. I think he's the better matchup just because Noruka is more lanky at the moment. But when you talk about upside, Noruka has the upside to be pretty special. Diba? I think you can compare him to maybe Motong Kara from last season. I think he has that upside to have an impact for UP. Now, the question is, will UP prioritize stability, getting that player that they already know what they're gonna get? Diba? Or getting a guy who could potentially be their X factor for next season. And the fact that they lost QMB, I think it's gonna be Noruka. Diba? If QMB was here, probably a different story. They'd probably still juggle getting Udodo just because Udodo fills that specific role, diba? Na somebody who could match up with more beefier big men. But Noruka has looked pretty good. I think he had a monster game, parang 30 points, 15 rebounds.
34-17.
Diba? 4 steals, 2 blocks, something like that. Diba? So he has been flashing his upside ever since he suited up for UP last season. So yeah, interesting to see where they end up, and hopefully we see Udodo soon. Diba? When he comes back to the Philippines and he gets the chance to prove himself. But
I did see him sa sidelines, Maui, in one of the games previously. So I do think he's back already. Yeah, he hasn't played though. So yun lang. Anyway, you're saying something.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see not just yung FSA watch ng UP. I just have this feeling that they're still gonna try to recruit another big man. Somebody could surprise us like UMB last season. So let's see.
Yung ngayon sabi ko sa'yo, diba, when we were doing the gun to your head thing, who do you think is starting for the UP Fighting Maroons Center? You went with Gani Stevens. Ako, sabi ko, I think it's someone else. I think they're gonna get someone else. But Norukas looked good. Yung sabi mo nga, I think he posted 34 points, 17 rebounds, and whatever stat line. Again, that was against an NU team without Omar John, and an NU team was starting, I think, si Jedrick Solomon, and he got uh, eaten alive by Francis Noruka. But
remember, si Balogun. Di ba si Balogun, I think, had this breakout game. Breakout game last season, his best game of the season against NU. Di ba? It's a different story when you don't have an FSA. Against UST
yun. Against UST yun. Nandun, sa UST Gymnasium yun. Nung 8 for 9
yeah.
the free throw line si Balogun. Yeah, but your 60-40, that's gonna be Noruka. I'm leaning towards more. It's like 80-20, 85-15 na it's gonna be Francis Noruka. I do think he has much bigger upside than
definitely
Udodo. Yung offense pa lang, wala na si Udodo eh. Well, from what I saw last season, I don't think Udodo has the same offensive skill set and upside that Noruka offers. So I don't know. I do think we're gonna close the FSA watch with Francis Noruka being the FSA for the UP Fighting Maroons. Lastly, before we go, I did mention that there is potentially a FSA slot open because we still have not seen Henry Agunane play. Now there are we've received some conflicting reports that he's just recovering from an injury. He just returned to practice. There are also some reports that say that he's possibly not gonna play for La Salle season 8-8. That they might just stay with Bright Noanco. And if Bright Noanco is your FSA and he hasn't even been playing that much this offseason, there may be a spot for a guy like Collins Okowe to take that FSA slot from the De La Salle Green Hunters. Now, granted, I don't think he's gonna play, no matter who the FSA is, I don't think he's gonna play big minutes for this La Salle team. Probably gonna back up Mike Phillips. But then again, there's also si Daep, Pablo, Amos. I don't think any FSA that's gonna enter La Salle is immediately gonna play a ton of minutes. So that's just our part of it. At what we've heard, we have not seen Agunane play yet. In the past games of La Salle, we have not seen him actually with the team. So we don't know yet. The CEU big men are not inspiring at the moment.
Walang ROI pa so far.
Walang ROI pa so far. But I did have Henry Agunane as someone to watch. I think if you were the coach episode, I did say na for this offseason, maybe Coach Topex can focus on developing a guy like Henry. Because yeah, he was bad for a lot of the games last season for the De La Salle Green Artists. But I do think he has something to offer. Diba? Again, he's lengthy, he's long, he does have some skills around the basket. He can protect the rim. I do think that Coach Topex can unlock him, but it does not look good that he hasn't even played a single minute. And we have not seen him around the team in the past couple of weeks. So that's something to watch. Another entry to our FSA watch. So we might have closed the NU side of it. The UP side of it is probably close more to me. It's close to me. Si Maui yung not so much. But another one has opened in the De La Salle Green Arters. So that's something to watch. And with that, we thank you all for watching. We'll have another episode around next week. Again, a lot of preseason action is happening. Hopefully we get Sammy back. Finally. Hopefully we get Sammy back. No word yet if he's gonna come back by next week. But if not, this is just be me and Maui together. We'll be talking about a lot of preseason. Hopefully may more eye-popping news that happens so we can talk about it. Just pour in more excitement to our lives. But for now, see y'all. Bye-bye.